From major changes to the Democratic presidential ticket to two historic speeches in Washington. It's been a very busy week in politics.
Sure has. And WGN political analyst Paul Lisnek is here to discuss.
It's middle of the weekend. We can always do a weekend review.
I know. Usually it's Friday, but here we go. So Vice President Harris has been on the campaign trail yesterday in Wisconsin, today in Indiana. What is your assessment of her candidacy so far, and how long do you think that this momentum behind her is going to last?
I don't think this is the Trump campaign is calling this, it's a honeymoon, whatever. It may be some of that, certainly. But a recent poll came out that said over 80% of Democrats are relieved that President Biden has stepped out. And so I think that this momentum behind a younger, more vibrant, regardless of what you think about her policies, but a younger, more vibrant candidate who is better equipped to take on the very strong, arguing Donald Trump, when you think about it in a debate or that kind of setting, I actually think that the momentum for her is real. How long will it stand? I think it hangs for a while. I think she's tapping into
$100 million in 2 days.
A lot of money.
Yeah, that's going to
and the number of volunteers signing up and the number of people registering. This is going very well with young people, especially the whole TikTok thing and all the stuff going on.
Brat Summer.
That whole, right. I was going to say that, but I don't know what it means. But anyway, but the question is whether or not young people will turn this into a vote in November remains to be seen.
Speaker Mike Johnson saying that there's legal trouble afoot, that they cannot make the switch from Biden to Kamala Harris. What legal trouble is he talking about?
I don't know what he's talking about because there's no legal trouble. He's trying to stir something up. That's his job. But there's two things that he's referring to. One is, hey, you can't take Biden off and put Kamala Harris on, and that doesn't work that way. Well, the law is clear that the parties can do anything they want in setting their slate of candidates. Republicans, same thing. So if President Trump were to remove Vance and change him, that would not stop him. They can do it any way they want. So that's the first level. The second level, he's talking about, well, states will stop it because they have deadlines for filing. And he's right about that. But one of the earlier deadlines is Ohio, which is an August 7th filing date. That's why the Democrats are having this early virtual vote to beat that deadline. Now, Ohio has changed their date to September 3rd, so technically the Democrats don't have to do it, but the law doesn't take effect until September 1st. And so if that's the case, Democrats are going, we are not risking that one. That's the reason for the virtual vote. There is no lawsuit. Oh, the other thing he's going to try and step into is money. You can't. We're going to go to the FEC and we're going to the Federal Elections Commission.
Who gets the money? Biden's money.
Well, that money under law will go to Harris, but the argument from lawyers is going to be, but you can't do that either. But you can, because people did not vote for just Joe Biden. They voted for Biden-Harris. The FEC consists of 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans. So even if the Republicans agreed with Republicans here, it's not going anywhere. What the Republicans probably will do is file all sorts of lawsuits, but we see that all the time.
Few governors and a senator asked for vetting materials by Harris in the VP search. Any candidate particularly rising to the top for you?
So, for me, I'm looking at Josh Shapiro because Pennsylvania is so critical to a Democratic win. But I think you can't overlook Mark Kelly, who we see in the list there, because, former military, astronaut, he's got a lot of cool stuff in his background. And of course, he's married to Gabby Giffords, who was a shooting victim, and that puts that issue front and center. So I think those two. Roy Cooper is a name that you're hearing a lot from North Carolina. You see him in the lower level there. He and Harris have been friendly for over a decade. The reason I push to him is because 2 factors will influence her pick. One, who helps me, who brings in a state, Josh Shapiro. But then secondly, who do I want to work with? I need somebody I can relate to, and she's more friendly with Cooper, I think, than she is with any of these others. That puts him in. And bringing North Carolina, which Obama won, but Trump won. So bringing them in would give an argument. So you can't ignore Roy Cooper. It could go to him. I still feel as though Mark Kelly is probably the #1 pick.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu speaking today before Congress. Not a lot of people happy. Lots of protests in that area. Yeah. He even said that Iran is funding those protesters. Go ahead.
Well, so, I mean, look, it was mainly Republicans in the audience today. There were some Democrats there. Congressman Brad Schneider from this area was there. I spotted him in the group. But this was a speech, arguably, which was being given for perhaps his audience back home in Israel, sending them a message. The response here was very warm from Republicans, and a lot of his statements were strong. But
calling protesters Iran's useful idiots.
Well, and I was going to mention that next. Yeah. So that's a line where, he knew what he was doing. He's not, Netanyahu had a couple of starter lines lines like that really stirred things up. That's not going to go well with the people. If he was here to sort of shake hands and make amends, he certainly had compliments for President Biden. He had compliments for President Trump. So he was looking at those two levels. But you're right. For the protesters outside, he couldn't have been more, nasty towards them. But then again, he may not have cared because his point is some of that funding, it's argued, comes from Iran. And, when you looked outside and you see some of these things, Hamas is coming on one of the statues. He raised the question, he said, do they even understand what they're doing and what they're talking about? I won't speak for protesters, but I'm going to guess maybe some do and maybe some don't. But it's this movement that's just hard to suppress. As far as he goes, he does meet with both Biden and Harris separately tomorrow. And so while she's under criticism for not being there today, I think she intentionally didn't want to be there. She had something else to do, as you said earlier, right? But the bottom line is they will meet. And that will be the important meeting where, if anything's going to get accomplished, it will be there.
For the fourth time in his presidency, President Biden in the Oval Office in just a few minutes,
little bit.
talking about his legacy and answering the calls. Is he fit to serve the rest of his term?
So I know he's hearing all those calls. It was just a few moments ago that there were some excerpts released. So this was really tightly watched. He's been very careful about what he says. And I think this is going to be an emotional effort for him tonight. This was a big decision, very personal decision. I think we're going to hear about things he's accomplished. I think he will spend more time on what still needs to be done, and he will make the case, given the calls for him to step down, he will make the case that says, I've got the energy to serve out the rest of my term, accomplish things, and even go with Vice President Harris on the trail as I'm needed. I'm not anywhere yet. I think will be a sense of the message we get. We don't know for sure.
So you're going to stick with us?
I'm going to hang with
during
you through the speech. I'll come back at 9 o'clock. We'll spend all night together.
You're just going to live here.
Sure.
All right. Thank you.